So, reviews are very, very important for me to avoid making the same mistake over and over again. Because I read a lot and I read fast, and I was often borrowing books from libraries, I noticed after a while I'd pick up a book, it looked really good, just my sort of thing, I'd read the back of it, I'd go, yeah, that's for me. I'd get it home, I'd start reading. By the end of the first page, I'd be starting to suspect that I'd already read this book, and by the third page, it was time to return to the library because I'd read it, probably within the last couple of years, and I'd forgotten it. So what these reviews are for is to make sure that I can't forget them. I can check my reviews before I buy a new book, before I borrow from the library, so I don't make the mistake over and over again. The one that I'm reviewing today is really, really important to have a review for it because it looked so good. I read it only last year and I have already practically forgotten it. The name of the book is The Island Will Sink. It's by Briohny Doyle and it ticked so many boxes. The cover was beautiful. It had an ocean motif and combined sci-fi and something marine or oceanic, and you've instantly got me. This one, I'm just going to read what the cover says. It says that in a not too distant future, perpetually on the brink of collapse, catastrophe is our most popular entertainment. As if it isn't already today, right? The energy crisis has come and gone. Eco-law is enforced by insidious cartoon panda bears and their armies of viral marketing children. And that sounded intriguing and strange. And actually the thing it reminded me most of was when I visited Berlin recently and I saw some of the methods that used to be used to spy on families, that brainwashed children to spy on their parents. So that felt very similar. So in The Island Will Sink, the world watches as Pitcairn Island sinks into the Pacific, wondering if this finally will be the end of everything. Amongst it all, Max Gallion, anxious family man and blockbuster auteur, lives a life that he cannot remember. What happens when you can outsource your memories and even edit them? Sounds cyberpunky? Sounds good. When death can be reversed through digitalization, what is the point of living? I mean, what has it always been? If the lines between real and real are fully blurred, can you really trust anyone, even yourself? Probably not. So again, ticked so many boxes. Marine, future, dystopia, sci-fi. Australian author, which is always a plus for me. I like reading Australian authors. And I got it out and I started it and I was so disappointed. The scenario was killed for me by the style of writing, and the style of writing is stream of consciousness, start to finish. Now, I can cope with a little bit of stream of consciousness. So if you've got a narrative and out of a chapter you put in a little bit of a whimsical stream of consciousness for a paragraph or two, if I must, I'll read it. I probably won't enjoy it, but I might read it if it's actually relevant to the story and building the plot. But this book is pages and pages of stream of consciousness. And it's a shame because in other ways I really liked the way the world building was shaping up. The main character, Max, lives in a corporate apartment in the Central District, which is completely personalised. It's a creepy level of automated house. His two school-aged children live in the family home, which is in some outer suburb. The house is apparently entirely programmed to care for them by itself. I never figured out if there was a mother or a wife, or whether the kids just lived with the house. I'm sure there was an old short story about two children who became enraptured by a simulation room in the house and ended up killing their parents. So Max and his partner Jean make movies or content or something that seems to be kind of like movieized scrapbook of disasters. Never quite figured it out. Max's creative state is stream of consciousness with no particular focus or way for the reader to ground themselves, and I did not like it one bit. It was annoying. It wasn't a story. It was just blah. Just anything in your brain, blah, forever. Very annoying. Then we met Jean, his partner, who was apparently not as fond of immersive technology as Max. So he doesn't live in an apartment which talks to him, and yeah. Anyway, I kept hoping the stream of consciousness was going to stop and the story would start and we could actually know what was happening and not have to wade through paragraphs and paragraphs of words with no story or intention consistent. Never did. It just kept going. Max burbling constantly about whatever. Jean reminiscing about an Australian beach when he was a kid for no reason that I could ever see. And it just was too disconnected and I lost interest. If there isn't a story, why read a book when there's many, many other books out there that have stories that you can read and understand and follow? I just couldn't. I might try it again one day, maybe if I'm really in the mood for a whimsical, no plot or character driven story, or if I ever get such bad Alzheimer's that I can't remember from page to page what I'm reading. This book would work perfectly for that because there's no plot to follow and there's no history to worry about. James Joyce Ulysses, that would be another one for Alzheimer reading mode. Anyway, so I read this in 2022 and I have already forgotten it. If it wasn't for this review, I wouldn't remember it. And if I hadn't written this review on Goodreads already, I think I can link that below. The chances are very good that I would have seen it again in a secondhand bookshop in the library. I'd go, "Oh, that looks really interesting," and I would take it home and the cycle would begin again. So this was a complaint video about a book that really, really annoyed me. I gave it 1 star out of 5. I never finished it. It went on the do not finish shelf. And I would probably give it negative stars. Yes, let's give it a negative 1 out of 5. It's not a terrible book. It's just really not my sort of book. Next time, I'm going to try for a book that I really, really love, just to be happy about one.